It's just me. I know lately life ain't treating you kind. Seems like your days are filled with rain. Your sun won't shine. But I've got news for you. I'm like your angel of love, girl. I come to see it through. So when you cry, let me wipe your tears. When you're scared, I wanna be there to calm your fears. When you're in need, baby, ring my phone. I'll run right over and we'll make love all night long. You don't have to be, never have to be, yeah. Other guys have come, baby. Baby, can't you see I won't be every man you need? Good brothers.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
A mini concert from your mans and them.
You do that good, Sean, that whole lip sync thing while I sing. I love that.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Love how you do that.
I appreciate you letting me front like that, Glenn Murray.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. I got you.
You're so kind, man. You know,
I am generous like that.
Only Oprah and Ellen can beat you giving.
True.
You know,
and I'm catching up with Ellen.
You gonna stop running in a minute?
Because I heard she be beating people's ass in the back.
Hey, good to see y'all, man. We are now asking that you not just share the show, but copy the link and post the pasted link to your page. I'm not smart enough to know why. I've been told that it increases something with the algorithms, and the person that said that is smarter than me, so I'm going with it. But I don't know that it's the truth. But that's what we're Roger. We're asking you to paste the link and not share the link, and help us increase our viewership. We weren't supposed to have Kevin in yet. But since Kevin is already in, kick it.
Let's go. Tonight, Mr. Kevin Foster steps in for Glenn Murray, which apparently he's done before. You can see the excited look on Kevin's face right there. But Kevin was with us in the beginning. Yanni Brown's Making Love Better Together had the very first episode of Live from the Cave. Since then, Kevin has been back a few times to bless the cave. Kevin knows a couple of the guys, so it's been, what you got in the bag, Kevin? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Foster.
And that shows you a lot of what we think about Glenn, since Kevin is in for Glenn and Glenn is still in. So
I was supposed to be out, but I had a mishap at the airport and flights got rearranged, so I decided to
get you off the flight. What?
Yeah, basically, I decided to, spread my love through the cave.
Yeah, well, spread your love, brother. Don't spread nothing else.
Oh, we thank you for that.
I got a public service announcement. One of Glenn's public service announcements. The holidays are coming, ladies.
Oh shit!
This is a candle from the I Am collection. So, women, if you're sitting at home with a man that smells like Newports and disappointment, get you an I Am candle, the I Am collection from Keisha Rose. Burn this. Burn that disappointment out your house. Burn it. This is better than incense. Get that no good. He's laying on the couch sleeping and snoring. He got sleep apnea. All this stuff. You wake up choking. You can't even get a good night's sleep.
He smell like Glenn. He smell like cool menthols and infidelity.
Pall Mall and just sadness.
Our Negroes smell like infidelity, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the presence of one of our favorite guests who's here so often that it don't even seem like he a guest. I wasn't even going to introduce him, but I did realize, okay, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, the brother to, I won't say little brother, the younger brother, the other brother, the brother,
the brother we like, the one we like, the Roberson we like. Just say it. Our favorite Roberson. Just say it.
Our favorite Roberson, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. How come we don't? Our new nickname is in quotation marks, Dave. How come we don't ever fuck with him, Roberson? Because we never give him a hard time. Never give him a hard. I think we scared of Dave.
Man, why would you? Why would you?
I think we
well, today's the day.
Really, in the holiday season, that's how we're gonna do it.
All right.
For people.
All right.
You're already on probation.
Rob, I heard Dave killed a man with a pencil.
Oh,
I told you, I'm starting all these John Wick rumors about Dave.
Right.
I heard he killed a man with a pencil.
He's the.
Well, what's going on, everybody? Happy to be with y'all again, man. Always a good time to kick with the fellas, man. So
yeah, man, we enjoy having you here, man. And Dave Roberson is not the boogeyman. He's who you send to kill the boogeyman. That's okay.
There you go. I like that. Next time I'm coming back with the T-shirt.
See that? See that? Yeah, man, good to see y'all, man, on this last show of before our Christmas break. And if you're just joining us, you missed me opening the show singing the opening song live. So now you got to go back and watch the broadcast to check that out. Hey, man, I got a lot of good stuff, man. I think the ladies going to be kind of mad at me this week. I think they mad at me every week.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah,
what else is gonna be new, Sean?
Yeah, but you know, I like to call the man to the carpet too. So do I want to start off with some foolishness? I want to start off. Okay, I'm gonna kick right in. We'll sing again. I will not. I'm gonna kick right in. So I was looking at TV, man, and I was watching the trailer for Joe Millionaire. And I was thinking about the fact that so many ladies are still in denial about the disproportionate amount of ladies that really shop for their men based on what they can do for them financially. I mean, damn, they just made a show about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is not the first run of this show, right? So clearly a man with money is a thing, right? Whether you want to own it or not. My question to you fellas is, what would be the female counter show to Joe Millionaire? Look at Kevin. Kevin is like, I'm thinking.
I'm thinking about the alternative to that.
John got a lot of options.
You know, you have to look at some other attributes to, I guess, compete with Joe Millionaire from a female perspective. So that's
right. You coming up? You got a goose egg. Dave is the smartest one on the screen. So, Dave, do you have anything? What do you think would be the counter to? I'm switching glasses because I'm switching drinks. What do you think would be the counter to ginger beer and bourbon? People, that's my thing.
Yeah, you know, I got a lot of things going through my head, Sean.
Hey, hey, this ain't a family show, Dave. This ain't a family show, so you come on with it.
Yeah, I haven't had offended.
If you're watching and you get offended, this ain't the show for you.
I haven't had the amount of drinks that you gentlemen had, so I need to catch up. But you know,
we had one, but I'm trying to catch up.
This is juice mostly.
Yeah, gin and juice.
I'll stir the pot a little bit. So I mean, we got this whole controversy over do women, you know, just go after men for money or whatever. We think they do, they think they don't. We always talk about how men just love sex and, you know, pretty much just look at women for sex. So I was thinking like a Keisha Camel Toe maybe could be as a Joe Millionaire possibly. You know, on the other side of it, I don't know. It's like,
Keisha Camel Toe.
I'm just saying, you know,
I love this dude. This dude is amazing. He's amazing.
But I mean, isn't it a myth? Like, okay, women, it's cool. You can go after money. It's fine. You know, if more of y'all have money, we probably going after y'all too, like that. So Facts. It's really okay.
I think that's a fair counter. I don't think that men pursuing women with money is a thing, especially men with pride. But that does bring me to the second thing I want to talk about tonight. But my belief is that there is no thing that you could directly parallel to that show that men pursue women for, because we pursue women. Hey, Pamela Denise Borders. We pursue women based on the uniqueness of the value that they bring, right? So you can't make a show about two men pursuing a woman because she has great sex, because great sex isn't such an anomaly, that you could build that around it. And I don't think there's anything that men seek from a woman that is so polarizing. You could actually make 2 shows about it, because this is the 2nd or 3rd season of.
You could do one show on a man with like 3 girlfriends or something, but Hugh Hefner already took care of that. Women would be all polarized about that. Oh, I can't believe, oh my God, they'd be clutching their pearls about that.
But to this level, and the way it's set up tells you that the money piece is, there he is, John Wick's brother.
Hold on. The Roberson you like, Glenn?
Well, there's only one. There can only be one.
Got it. Carry on, Mr. Mason. I got something for your ass later, boy.
And I knew y'all were in for it.
We can't fit 6 people on the count, Raj. You need to take somebody out.
Here's what I think is fascinating about the show's design, is that the woman is given a chance to know the men based on who they are, with the money piece being in the backdrop, and ultimately dictating, or we'll see if it dictates, who they actually fall for, because somebody's gonna fall for the dude that's not a millionaire. He wouldn't be there. He's got to be equipped to make someone fall for him, right? So if you fall for him and he's not the one, are you still happy? Are you still content?
So there was this show. Is this similar to the show that was on a few years ago where the guy wasn't a millionaire, but they told all the women he was?
Yep.
And then at the end,
Joe Millionaire.
Yeah.
This time there are 2 guys, and one of them is and one of them isn't, and all of the women are vying for the guys, not knowing. And I'm sure they'll be doing all they can to try to set traps to figure out who it is. You know what I'm saying? But the premise is they don't know.
Okay.
Who is the millionaire and who isn't. So that's the premise of the show. Now, with that in mind, you guys know this is going to be our last show. Till when, Glenn?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. January, I guess.
Yeah, January.
Do we come back on? I don't know. January, yeah.
Pamela Border said it can be seasonal, right? Like, can we look for the man around tax time and not?
An accountant would say that.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
So now, with that in mind, what's January 9th? They just put January 9th up in the
next show.
No, the next one is
Thank you, Dave. I told you Dave's the smartest person on the screen. So
It's January 7th. It's January 7th.
January 7th.
Yeah.
January 7th, Thursday the 7th.
Yeah, that's the date.
Thursday the 7th.
Yeah, our producers are looking at the 2020 calendar, 2021 calendar.
Team. That is surprising. You have not had anything to drink today, have you, Rob?
January
7th is a Friday. He's not that smart.
Oh, 6. Sorry.
January 6th.
Well, you had a very short reign, Robert. A very short reign, long enough for Mel to look at a calendar. Now your crown is being taken from you. So,
oh my God,
with what we were just talking about with with Joe Millionaire, I'm going to share this scenario with you. I don't remember. I think it was Gwen Woody who mentioned something about men want money too, but we're talking about in a proportionate fashion, right? So check this out. Keith and Tamika recently married. Tamika is a neurosurgeon that earns $400,000 a year. Keith is a manager at Finish Line and earns $44,000 a year. After the wedding that she paid for, Keith moves into Tamika's house. She buys him a new Lexus to replace his old Honda Accord and even pays for a 2-week honeymoon to Jamaica.
Good job, Keith.
Keith loves Tamika with all his heart and vice versa, and they are happy together. but all of Tamika's family and friends say she is stupid. Since Keith is the man, is there a problem with their financial arrangement? If they're in love, does the money difference make them unequally yoked? Ladies, if you were Tamika, or gentlemen, if you were Keith, could you play that role?
See, man, this is a lesson for you. Go get you a Tamika.
No, this is the lesson. I'm starting with the smartest.
That's a doctor that Dave makes Roberson, about 400 stacks.
Dave Roberson, I'm giving you the crack at that first. Do you see a problem with the dynamic? Could you be Keith in that situation?
So I would say off top, I don't necessarily see a problem with it, just as stated. Really kind of depends on how it plays out. So my whole thing is when you're talking about a relationship, it really comes down like what people are to the table. You don't have to be equal with money and equal in every single category. But if one person is kind of outweighing you on the money side, what are you doing to make up for that and bringing something to the table? So at the end of the day, it really depends on what Keith is bringing.
Glenn Murray, since you seem to be in a TS talking mood tonight. Talking shit.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Because you know I'm a little slow tonight. What was the question?
Really?
That's normally what I say.
Keith makes 40. It's a little early for that, Glenn. Keith makes 44 grand. Tamika makes 400,000 grand.
Mm-hmm.
They are cool. They love each other. Got no issues. Tamika paid for the wedding. She paid for the honeymoon. She bought him a car when they got back. The problem is her friends say she's a dumbass.
Yeah, but her friends are probably all unmarried and single while they're talking about Keith. So as long as Tamika's happy, then the girlfriends need to shut the hell up.
And baby, I've been there. I'm gonna try not to pick it up, but I've been there. Kevin, and Kevin, we know you got a little bit of a delay. So what do you think about it?
You know, I actually have to agree with Glenn because you know, money's not everything. I think it's the connection between the two. And people on the outside can't really understand what their connection is. So they are going to criticize, you know, from their perspective. But, you know, hey, dude is obviously connected with her and she's connected with him. So who cares, you know, what's going on between the two of them? You know, people are going to criticize everything about other people's lives, but you know, they have to take a look at themselves in the mirror, you know, and live their lives. They can't live through and so no, I would if they're happy together, hey, let them be happy. You know, people are gonna hate, let them hate. You know, be true to who you are, what your connection is.
Before I bring the total gent in here, I'm going to say I think that people are so preoccupied with shiny things, you know, that they don't really value the intangibles. And so we don't know what Keith is bringing to the table that you can't count or that you can't measure. He may be bringing something to her life that she's never had before. And she understands that money and finances is a fleeting thing. Now, Jamie, they didn't say he didn't have a car. They just said he didn't have a Benz. You know, he was driving a Honda Accord. He clearly can sustain himself. He's making in the 40s. Right, he's making in the 40s. He's just not balling.
Yeah.
Right. He can't take you to Dubai every 6 months. But clearly, if you were gone, he could still pay his bills, whether it was easy or not. So, Mel, come on. What do you've had enough time to come with something real heavy.
Yeah, I mean, who cares what her friends think? At the end of the day,
maybe she need new friends. Maybe
that could be it. You know what I mean? When I met my kid's mom, she made more money than me. You know what I'm saying? Like it just is what it is. Again, what you bring to the table. Lot of money,
so that's hard to do.
Well, this was years ago. I mean, my kids are grown. But I get what you're saying.
Right.
But you know, at the end of the day, it's like, who cares what they think? And the other comment is like, what do you bring to the table? Like everything that you contribute to a relationship isn't financial. It's like if the guy made $400,000 a year and she only made 40, and all he provided was financial stability, but every other area of his life he was an asshole, then is that a great relationship? No, it's a horrible relationship. So apparently, if she's okay with it and he ain't tripping, it's not like a knock to his ego or his manhood. Everybody has a capacity or or earning potential, and not that he doesn't even have more earning potential, but you take somebody who is an attorney, and earns a law practice, and her husband may be a social worker, right? We know a social worker ain't gonna make $250,000. It's just not gonna happen. But it's his life's work. It's what he loves. It's what he desires to do. So forth and so on. And as long as they okay with it, who cares what anybody else thinks?
That's what I say. Robert Hazard.
Yeah, I think everybody else has said what I would say. I mean, it's clearly an issue of where you need to keep people out of your business. First of all, I think Mel or Dave or somebody said that, because people don't need to know what we're doing in our family unit. That is a big issue in today's marriages, in this IG social media world that we live in. Everybody wants to front. So in money just happens to be one of the things that we can talk about. But as everybody else said, brothers are bringing other things to the table that aren't put out on social media that help the family still to grow and be successful.
Yeah, he may be giving her like some spiritual balance. Something that she probably needs. No, seriously though. Well, she's a doctor. She's working a lot of hours, so he may be giving her a balance that she needs at home. That's necessary in a relationship.
Well, let me pose this question to you.
That's a good point, Glenn.
Let me pose this question to you. And I mean, this is maybe one of the most serious questions I've ever asked you guys as a group.
Let me pour a drink then.
Yeah, let me get some. I'm drinking some Sauvignon Blanc. This ain't strong enough for probably this question that you got.
Like a writer's tears. I'm ready for him.
So is the leadership that a man can provide, is it defined strictly by the money that he offers? Because what I've noticed is whenever women want to talk about men leading and covering and providing, it's very one dimensional. They're that's all there is. It's strictly a money thing. They don't factor in anything that is an intangible or any other value. It's straight ahead and proudly money thing. I even see them pull the Bible into it and say the Bible says you're supposed to provide. Now, however, in every one of those situations, they never acknowledge that time is not this time. That time was a time when women stayed at home, they did not work, yada yada yada. So even the Bible context is tweaked.
Well, women can't use the Bible because unless you're ready to be Ruth, you don't deserve a Boaz.
So well, they can use the Bible with somebody who
you can't be using all that biblical mess. Don't be.
Yeah, but they can do that with somebody who don't know the Bible. If you are prepared to counter the reason that's invalid, then that's a totally different argument. But I've had a woman tell me in the last 2 weeks about the man providing. It's in the Bible. I'm like, well, polygamy is in the Bible too. You don't that chapter don't count. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's unfortunate that Chris Rock can put out a video that says, men are the only creatures not loved unconditionally. They're loved based on the fact that they provide something. And then when you stand up and say, hey, you only love me because I provide something, they cry foul. But every side conversation, I see you, Glenn, I'm watching you. Every side conversation is he better provide. So I think that is part of the reason that we're so dysfunctional, is that we can't see the value in each other outside of what we've decided you're worth. And if it's a woman who decides that your wallet is what you're worth, she's never going to be able to see any other value in you. And so you have the ladies that don't necessarily limit their thinking. I'm not saying it's a bad thinking. If it works for you, it works for you. I think it's a limited thinking though.
I think that the provide part is important in the sense that though, like it's hard to look past or look for other qualities if you're worried about whether you're going to be living in a cardboard box or not, right? And if a man chooses to play that role as a provider and stability, because I mean, I think it's not only what you earn, but how you manage what you earn as well. Because you could be in a situation where somebody's making 6 figures, 7 figures, but spending more than they make.
Yeah,
And
I know people like that.
So they made a bunch of money, but they got a gambling problem, or they made a bunch of money, but every 6 months they're going to get a car and a motorcycle and diamonds and want to live this flossy lifestyle. So, but I do think it's important, especially since I'm raising daughters, and both of them have the ability and capacity to take care of themselves. I know my girls are amazing, but I still think too, I would wonder and be concerned if something were to happen to them, and they've joined this union, would this person have the ability, capacity, and willingness to hold them down in that situation? So I don't think that the providing question is something that should be looked totally past or whatever. I do think that it's a fairly decent place to start, though, because you could say, oh, I have this guy and he loves me so much, but I mean, he could be like super hippie, frivolous, money's not real. Money's a figment of your imagination. And don't act like it ain't some people out there that's like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that might be the funniest thing you said in a year and a half, dude. That was hysterical.
Just saying, bro.
I just think that it's become so skewed, that I just think we're messing up. And I think we're missing out on each other because we've allowed people to tell us what makes somebody valuable or not.
But that's about getting yourself together, and that's about understanding who you are. Mm-hmm. And if you're letting outside people influence that, then that's an issue. You got to know who you are. You got to settle yourself.
Because to Mel's point, that $44,000 that Keith is making, he might be super frugal, super miserly. He might be stretching it, And I've been in a relationship where the two of us were making a modest amount of money, and then hers ballooned in a weekend, and suddenly I was somebody she was carrying. Yeah. But that Friday, we in the trenches together, fighting, making 50 a piece, you know what I'm saying, and trying to make it, and then suddenly you making 160, and now I'm dead weight.
Yeah, but people like the armchair quarterback everybody's relationship. Somebody posted, I think Keisha and I were talking about it or something. Somebody posted, everybody needs to get a Beyonce. Jay-Z was like $500 million in when he met Beyonce, so she didn't actually like bring him up, like elevate him anywhere to that. He was already made when he came in the picture. So it's people just like the armchair quarterback everybody else's relationship because they don't have a lot to do. What's up, Ben Stevens?
Yeah.
What's up,
Big
Ben?
What up, bro?
What's going on?
Hey, I had something else on that, and Ben's handsome face threw me up.
Let me say this, and maybe that'll.
I know he is distracting.
Hey,
I think that I think we've allowed society to dictate this whole money thing, because what we haven't talked about is when we're all making great money, and then what happens a year down the road or 2 years down the road, because we're in a situation now where jobs are fickle, just like marriages and relationships might be fickle. So the point that I want to make with that is we might be up today making great money, but tomorrow we may be down. So there's some other things that we have to look at that hold that relationship together. I think some people said something about security. I think Lynn talked about the Bible and some other stuff that we have to do with our mates.
That's an oxymoron. Glenn talked about the Bible.
I know, right?
That statement alone is scary.
He's going to spontaneously combust right on screen.
I know. I thought something started smoking over there. But we got to really look at, those are the things that hold people together. Not these big weddings that we spend a lot of money on, and then 3 years down the road, we're not even together anymore. So, I mean, if that makes sense, it's putting together a plan where we can move forward.
Surprisingly, Robert, you are making sense. So it must be early into your drinking.
Yeah, like I said, this is not strong drink.
He was coherent and everything. He clearly states subject and predicate. Everything was coming together. Rob, good job.
Well, there you go.
So now,
that's all I got for you.
So let me say this. I saw this quote, and this is also for the ladies who don't think that I'm equal opportunity. Right. I saw a quote that really, really rang with me, and I think the ladies are probably gonna have the whole thread vibrating just because. But I saw a quote that says, "You can't turn a hoe into a housewife, but you can turn a lying, cheating felon into a king." And I was like, touche.
Oh, Sean, Sean Mason, we hope will return in
Hey,
2022.
man, I'm on the side of love, man. I'm not on the men's side any more than I am the woman. I'm just a man, so the voice of a man speaks more frequently. But that's real. And I just, if I've never said it, and I think we've had the cheating conversation, but if you're 40 and 50 and you still out here on what you were when you were 20 and 30, you're a waste of space. You just are. There's a time for you to grow up and be. I don't like to use the whole real man thing.
How you know what I was doing at 20 and 30? I could have been amazing at 20 and 30.
Well, you could have been that anomaly. I'm just saying, Reverend Male, when when you were saving souls at 20, but most men were not. They were sowing their oats. And you know what? In your 20s, if that's where your mind is, that's cool. But at some point, I expect you to be adult. And I have to bring Mel back into this because something that he said during the Black Women's Expo, I have not recovered from. And that was when he said our culture does not tell little boys that their virtue is as valuable as little girls is. And the reality is that's the God, as my mom used to say, the God in heaven truth. And so every little girl that's being told that they should be careful about when they release their virtue and who they give it to and who they share it to, little boys should be given the same thing. And men as a whole have reduced the value.
Boy, we've been waiting for years for you to get this right. It's a year and a half, Sean, and now you sound like a host. That was good. Good job.
I'm glad you said I sound like a host and not a host.
No, host.
That's what I thought I heard.
No.
But yeah, Pamela says she don't want to grow up. You don't have the same pressure to grow up though, Pamela. That's our thing. We're supposed to be the leaders, But I do think that there's some truth to that, man. And I got a nephew, man. I talk to him all the time. Big Phil, how you doing, brother? Thank you for
What's
tuning
up,
in.
Phil? We're gonna have you back on the show so you can tell women you the table. Don't worry.
The whole NF table.
The whole table.
The whole table. If you don't like it, he will send you home in a black car. That is my favorite line of the year.
But I would tell my nephew that all the time. Man, you're a blue chipper. Don't move around here flowering seeds. Like your seed ain't got no value. You got a high value seed, young man. So treat it that way. And so I wish that we could normalize young men feeling like their virtue was as covetous as young girls grow up feeling like theirs is. I think that's one of the huge disconnects that we have that is creating some problems. Let's switch gears real quick, man. Where are you guys at, man, with this COVID stuff now? With the mutations, with the variants. Somebody told me today that they felt like that proved that it was man-made because it keeps on mutating. I don't know that there is any science that supports that opinion. I'm just saying that's something that I heard today.
Well, it's interesting. Somebody was telling me that they were having some type of event and they requested that people, have a test, because that's the only real way to know that you don't have it at this point. People, and I see so many people that are like, yo, I got a vax card. And they're like, well, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, they're NFL teams that are talking about players on COVID protocol right now. And these are vaccinated people. So the vaccination hasn't done, it's not inoculation. And people walk around like it is, like, well, I'm vaccinated, or, when's the last time you had a test? I don't need to test, I'm vaccinated. all of these people that just caught it are vaccinated too, and unvaccinated people are catching it too.
We're so easily misled. There's never been a single report that has ever said the vaccine will keep you from getting it. It's never been said.
But that's how they act. Like, that's the only answer. Like the thing that kills me the most is that they're and I'm not anti-vax. You know what I mean? I'm not for people that want to do it. You know what I mean? I am for people choosing whether they want to or don't want to based on what they feel is right for them. Right? I don't knock the people that are. I don't knock the people that aren't. Okay. But it's interesting how politics and government and, you know, even medicine, Pfizer just made what 33 billion off of vaccinations and stuff like that. Neither here nor there. It's interesting how they are so pro vaccine, but not pro build your immune system, health. You know, there people talk about employers that are like, well, if you don't get vaccinated, then you know you're going to be fired and you're raising our medical costs. Well, what about Jim in cubicle 3 who's overweight, you know, super obese, unhealthy, leading to heart failure and all of this other stuff? Like, you know what I'm saying? There are things, because you're saying this could have been in your control. Well, your health is in your control as well. And we don't approach that because medicine is a multi-trillion-dollar industry in America. So we're not approaching it with the same tenacity as we are making sure everybody gets vaccinated. Last thing, then I'm done, I promise. They're so quick to rush. They were so quick to rush into the Black communities that we got these vaccines. We got these vaccines for everybody. It's a Black problem. It's a Black problem. What y'all doing about education and resources and all of these other things that have been Black problems for years? And you seem to show no control. My thing is keep the same energy and let it be the right energy for the right reasons all the way around.
See, the only reason that energy doesn't bother me is because I know what you're doing. I know what you're up to. And so the color that matters to you is green. You know what I'm saying? And so when I see them, I just want to recognize what their agenda is and understand it. But I know why they're pushing it, because they don't really push us. They don't really care about us. They care about the dollars that we spend. And so when there's a situation that's going to get us back into spending our dollars and driving the economy, then they're going to speak up for us. But when it comes to, you know, what our liberties look like and you know, what systemic racism does to people of color, then they're silent. So anytime that I see them active, I already know green is the color that's at play, because they really don't care about any color of skin that is darker than, you know.
Hughes, well, Michael Jackson, they don't really care about us.
Yeah. I get.
Come on.
Where's my glove? I think that you're onto something, Sean, but I think that when we talk about the money green and what businesses are losing out on, that's not just a Black thing. That's a people thing. You know, with people, when we lock down, you know, restaurants and other establishments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a green thing, because money has no color.
Yeah, money has no color.
So,
yeah.
That's what makes it a green thing. Hey, man, on this last show before Christmas, time is zooming by as usual. And this last thing I wanted to talk about, you know, I'm going to ask you guys to be a little transparent if you're willing to. But the quote reads like this, and I posted it on my Facebook page earlier this week. It says, yes, toxic and abusive relationships are hard, but you know what else is hard? Your first healthy relationship after a toxic one. No one talks about how hard it is to unlearn all the toxic behaviors you adopted as a coping mechanism to convince yourself that you're safe now. And when I read that, I thought that was insanely powerful, because I feel like we come out of dysfunctional relationships often not knowing how damaged we are. And then we throw ourselves into a relationship with hopes for the best. But oftentimes we're met with some resistance because we are now recycling the toxicity that we experienced, whether it is because something happens that's reminiscent of something that happened in the previous relationship and you go, oh, I've seen this movie, I'm getting the hell out of here. And that's really not what it is. It's just something that's reminiscent of it. I know of a time when I was particularly sensitive to it because I had a relationship with a lady who had some significant health problems, and the lady was very compliant. She was very willing to do whatever the doctors told her to do. And then I was going out with a lady who was having a health challenge, and she ended up being, before our first date, she ended up in the hospital on her birthday. And she told me herself that the doctors told her to go home and rest. And she told me she was going out to the club because it was her birthday, even though the doctor told her. And I remember I was spooked. I was like, I'm not doing this again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen this movie. I'm not doing it again. So my first question to you guys is, have you been there? Have you come out of the backside of a toxic relationship and had to struggle, to trust the person in front of you because you were so bound by the toxic behaviors that you had recently experienced? And Dave, because I know your story would be way older than ours, because you are a happily married man, I'm gonna ask you to jump in there first.
Yeah,
mine will married that long.
Mine will be quick. No, I haven't. I don't do toxic. Just.
You sure you aren't toxic? That's a joke.
It's a valid question.
I'm the first one brave enough to come at Dave.
Yeah, no. I just think you got to take your time to get out of that and get yourself in the right space. But no toxicity for me.
Glenn Murray, you ever come out of something toxic and had to recover from it, or had to deal with somebody coming out of a toxic situation that you were trying to balance what they were bringing?
Glenn is usually the toxic one.
I had my head down. I knew it was coming, but go ahead.
I knew it was coming. I knew Mel was gonna chime in, whatever. Yeah, I have. I've had people that have come out of toxic relationships that haven't completely healed, and I bear the brunt of that.
Yeah.
As far as me, I've really tried to make sure that I've healed before I get into anything else that's toxic. But there's always that something that brings you back. You have to be strong enough to understand that this is not the same person that's in front of you as the person you left behind. Right. Until you can reconcile that, you don't need to be in a relationship.
And even if they do something reminiscent of that, you have to let it play out.
You have to let it go.
Because it may just be something that looks like that, and it's not.
Right. Right. You've got to recognize, and I can't remember, somebody was being interviewed, and they talked about that. He was talking about his wife, and then he met his wife, and she was like, okay, we're not going to go through whatever you went through with your past relationships, because I'm not that person. And she told him that up front. So I'm just letting you know that now. So anytime that something happens that reminds you of that, I'm not her.
Yeah.
So don't treat me like her. Don't come at me like her, and we're not gonna do this.
Man, somebody help me out on the thread. White female R&B singer Jessie something has a song called "I'm Not Your Ex." That's so powerful. It speaks right to that. I'm not your ex, and of course we all know music. In previous cats.
Yeah.
Robert Hazard, you got something you wanna share in there?
Absolutely. First of all, I think that's a great question. I think healthy relationships are something that we all need to work on. But when we come out of something, we need to take time. There was a book called Men Don't Heal, They Hoe. You probably remember that book. But the premise of that book was it kind of gave men, kind of a bad rap. It just means that we move from.
Well, that's the first time I ever heard of that.
Yeah. We move from relationship to relationship. I mean, women do it as well, but I think that
they do.
But I think the big thing. I mean, I think it's been 3 years now for my divorce, and the women that I see or what have you, I don't try to treat them like my ex-wife or anything like that, or get back at them because of something that she did. But I do think that all of us need to look at therapy and get involved in it, myself included, which is, what I try to do so that I can look at things objectively to make sure that I'm not looking at this person who is really trying to give me love and attention, and think that they're really out to hurt me, like, you know, somebody else that I may have been with. So I think the thing that I want to just stress to that question, and I was trying to look back at it, I did see your quote, is that we need to really just take a moment, get to know ourselves, you know, find out what we like and all that other stuff before we move to another relationship. And that's right, we need to normalize therapy. And I think that that's key, and we don't do it.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give me some ginger beer too or something.
Hey, and you can't, you know, if the new person you're with, if their only fault is they're not the last person that hurt you, then you need to get you some therapy. And think about that first before you go forward with that person, because you're only just creating a cycle of hurt.
Right. Thank you, Roger. Jesse J is the song, Jesse J is the artist, not Max is the song.
There's another one by a chick named YSL Brooklyn. That's the one I thought you were talking about. I've never heard the one by Jesse J, but YSL Brooklyn got one called "I'm Not Your Ex."
Really, I'm gonna write that down.
It's pretty dope as well.
Right, YSL Brooklyn.
But it's a sister though, so when you said a white girl, I was like, yeah, that.
Yeah, it's a white girl, but she sings R&B, so she thinks she's.
The best song ever, Motley Crue. Don't go away mad, just go away.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
my favorite song.
Just go away.
I don't know that it's the best song ever, just because of that. So we got about 8 minutes.
Did we finish talking about?
Say something to this last topic real quick, Sean, that you talked about. I think another thing that happens when you're in relationships with toxic people, and it's coming out of their feeling that you like getting to the point rather where you have the feeling that you deserve to be loved properly. So many times in toxic relationships, because we've been loved improperly and there's no loyalty or respect, or there's abuse or whatever it is that contributed to the toxicity, it teaches us that this is how we're loved. And so it
normalizes the toxicity.
Normalize it. We formulated these habits of this is what love looks like. And then when somebody comes along and wants to love us properly, you know, it either looks foreign to us, or we haven't gotten to the point where we feel like we deserve that type of love. And I think that's important to recognize and talk about in therapy.
You know, Neil, I think that is probably more significant than we realized, our inability to believe that we are worth someone loving us and loving us unconditionally.
But that's a fundamental problem. I think a lot of people don't want to admit that, but I think that's a block. That's a blocker for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's why you should take the manifestation class that I'm teaching in January, along with Coach Monique Spence at www.youcanmanifestanything.com, www.youcanmanifestanything.com. Check it out.
How come all of my dysfunctions end up costing me $500 or $600 with
right, exactly. Hey, can we?
If it only costs you $500 or $600 to get over your dysfunctions, I would say that's an amazing investment.
Hey,
that's
Sean,
an amazing investment.
While we're plugging, Sean, can we?
No, I sound like somebody that knows what the hell he's doing. It's a difference.
While we're plugging, Sean,
I ain't selling shit.
Can we send a shout out to Shar McAllister? We're going to be on her show. And we're actually going to be talking with 4 of the women. So it's going to be the man cave in the parlor, talking to 4 of the women and discussing stuff. So there you go. Join us Tuesday, January 4th. That's right, Shar. Push that show, Shar. Go on, do it.
Have we? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rob.
I'm excited.
No.
I'm excited about
no, because I'm about to change it up. I was just about.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
That is going to be an exciting show. But did we finish talking about how we can't turn a hoe into a housewife? Did we finish
that wasn't really what we were talking about. We were talking about how we can't turn a lying, cheating infidel into a king. That was really what.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We skipped over that, Rob.
I'll go back to mute. Sorry.
That's hey Glenn, that's a classic example of I know what you said, but what I heard was
exactly. Way to go, Rob. Nice.
We made it clear we were talking about the trifling ass cheating men.
Nice.
That wanted to be king. You know. So yeah, Robert, this show is not reaching you at all. It's just not.
Robert,
I think it's this.
Be here now, Rob.
I think it's this weak wine that I'm drinking. That I started to drink some other stuff and do a martini tonight, guys. Sorry about that.
That sounds like the good name of a rock group, Weak Wine, but it should be WHINE. Weak Wine. That would be a good group name. Hey man, before we get out of here, we got like 4.5 minutes. And since we're going to be gone for a couple of weeks, man, does anybody have anything? Jamie says, Robert, you should go get your guitar. Robert, I just got my guitar stringed and polished, and I'm getting ready to get back serious about my guitar lessons.
So I think we should plug Virginia because Robert and I are going to do.
You might need to rephrase the way you just said that. Wait a minute. What are you saying?
We need to talk about the Virginia event, the Richmond, Virginia event.
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I thought some girl named Virginia.
Are you having a moment, Sean?
No,
Is all of this stuff hitting you?
I didn't know what he said. The man said we need to plug Virginia. Ain't that what he said?
That's what he said.
Is it Pollyanna? What is it?
You can't say it, so we know you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Char, we will not be doing this on your show. I promise, Char, we will be on our best behavior. My strong Christian upbringing, I will bring that with me to the show, and I won't be talking like this, like those other guys.
Jesus.
Is this a Christian show we're going on?
Huh?
Is it a Christian show we're going on?
No, it's not.
Well, Sean, I'm making you no promises. I'm not.
And neither is Glenn, for the record, but go ahead.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm
Right, that part.
the most innocent member of this
the
group.
record has shown, though, that when we venture out, we tend to behave. Have you noticed that?
We do. We're on our best behavior when we're on
tend to
other
behave.
people.
John, you and I do behave when we venture out.
So you're saying me and Robert
You're
don't?
the behaving one all the time.
Wait, you not putting me in with that too, man? I mean, I was at the Black Expo with you guys. I mean, I thought we behaved.
I behaved on every show we've ever guested on. I have been the voice of reason and the most innocent person.
Word? Guested?
So okay, when people say they
It
behave,
is tonight.
behave is a neutral word.
Oh, here we go.
We just
Mel's
need to put
about
the
get
adjective
professorial on us.
in front of your behavior. So the
Here
bad
we go.
behavior,
I'm being
that you
hazed.
show, right? Your misbehavior, right?
What Mel is saying is he's a freak and he's gonna act like a freak on the show, Shar. That's what he's saying.
And that's behaving. Is that
I just
behaving?
translated for you, bro. I just
I
translated.
rest my case, ladies and
You don't have to say
gentlemen.
anything, Mel.
Glenn's
It's okay.
behavior
I got you.
is consistent.
I got you.
So
Mel's
let's.
gonna be a
I
freak
think I
on
might
the
be
show.
the only one that has promoted freaky behavior, really, on this show.
Well, but Sean, people expect you to do that. It's okay.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So
You guys are gonna miss us for 2 weeks. How are you gonna manage? So, women, if you're not gonna manage, I got this candle.
They're
Like I
gonna
said,
miss
if your
Robert.
man
They're
is
not gonna
smelling
go
like
like Robert.
pools and just sadness, you burn this candle and you'll get rid of him in like a week.
but we are planning to run some of our special shows that we've had in the past
Yes.
to give people an opportunity to see us again, during that break, right?
Yeah, Robert, there was a picture you took with a rose in your mouth. I'm a little ashamed of that picture. That was you actually took a promo picture with a rose in your mouth. What were you thinking?
Yeah. Hey, women, watch that. That was the what was that? The February,
Valentine's show,
Valentine's Day. We might need to run that
Glenn,
one.
looking like he had a woman tied up in his basement.
I do have some handcuffs, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
They're velvet, though. He meant they're velvet. They're velvet handcuffs. They're not real ones. They're velvet. They're soft.
You don't want to turn that corner, Robert. You want to turn that corner. Hey, man, Mel, I thought we were going to get some poetry from you, man, before the break. Did you
I
hear
thought.
anything?
We don't have time. We got 10 seconds before the show is over with.
Yeah, which clearly means you had no real intention because you
It's right here. It's right here, Mason. You little piece of shit. It's right here.
So what that means is, if he asked me to do it, I'll do it.
I ain't really wanting to do it, but I'm just here and I'm prepared just in case.
But if I remember with my whack ass memory that he know I got, if I remember, then he would do it. Right? Hey man, but I love you anyway. Male Rob.
You all
and
right.
I love you, Robert Hazard. I love you, Kevin Foster. I love you, John Wick, aka Dave. And I'm gonna miss y'all for the next couple of weeks. I hope everybody watching is gonna miss you guys as well. Hey man, until January 6th, is it?
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
But we'll be on the parlor 2 days before that, so we will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we blast social media, let you guys know where we at. In the meantime, happy holidays. I'll have had a birthday by the time we come back, so happy birthday to me. And I'll see you
happy
guys
birthday
a couple
to you, man.
Thursdays in the cave. Let's go.
We're out.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.